All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Live SEO Support. Just making sure everything is working here, and I guess, yeah, it looks like it's working. Completely random time, completely unannounced. I think it's like 8 a.m. in Texas right now, and it's about 9 p.m. here in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. And so, yeah, no idea what's going to happen. No idea if anyone's going to show up for the stream. But yeah, if you got any questions at all, go ahead and drop them in the chat and I'll get to them. Doesn't matter if you think it's beginner question, advanced question, whatever. It's about SEO. Go ahead and drop it in the chat and I will get to it. And let's see what we've got here. What are the best SEO practices for beginners? So, I think the biggest mistake that people make when they're a beginner doing SEO is they are trying to look for shortcuts. And I understand that you want to look for shortcuts, especially when maybe you don't have a big budget to do SEO. But I think the biggest mistake people do is they try to end up taking all of these shortcuts in the beginning and they never learn how to do like proper normal SEO. They never learn the fundamentals. They never learn how to rank something without doing the shortcuts, and they try to start doing much more advanced stuff before they learn how to do the easy stuff. The easy stuff that just takes time, it's not sexy to, say write good content and do proper on-page optimization and slowly build quality links over time and that it's going to take a long time, but you're going to build a powerful site that will, eventually just rank for whatever you want because your authority is going to be so high and people will trust the site and blah 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 and it converts well. Everyone wants to rank fast. Hey, I gotta rank this keyword in 1 month or 3 months or whatever. How do I do that? Like, I need money now. And they're operating on this really like kind of scarcity mindset, right? Whereas if you just learn how to do everything correctly, it's good for the long term. And then you actually learn how to do SEO versus you try to do all this advanced stuff in the beginning without learning the beginner stuff. And then you don't really understand why things aren't working. And basically everyone that's a beginner, you're going to mess everything up. Doesn't matter if you even the beginner stuff, even the normal easy stuff, you're going to mess that up. So if you try to jump to the advanced stuff, you're absolutely 100% going to mess that up. You will not succeed. It's going to blow up in your face unless you're insanely lucky. I mean, I guess there probably is like a small percentage of people you could get insanely lucky. But at this point, you're kind of just like gambling, right? So yeah, just learn the basics. It's not as exciting, but just go from there. And then once you've got that down, then you can start doing the more advanced stuff. If you want to try to do some more like black hat kind of stuff, ranking things extremely fast, 301 redirects, PBN, whatever. But yeah, in the beginning, just keep it simple. All right. Any questions at all, boys and girls? Drop them in the chat. I'm going to keep going on these questions I've got here. Does anyone know a good connect for dev.to, indiehackers.com, and hackernoon.com backlinks? I'm looking for indexed and do follow as well. Competitor has them as some of his major links, and I'm trying to get some of that covered. Feel like some of us have to be in startups tech here, so it's got to be someone, right? So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Ahrefs really quick because or maybe I don't have to pull up Ahrefs. We actually got a link from Hacker Noon naturally. Let's see if I can, yeah, here we go. I'll pull this up for you guys just because it's funny. Uh, so yeah, Hacker Noon's this website. Let's see what I can't remember what their authority is, but let's have a little look-see in Ahrefs real quick. I'm sure it's like 80 or something. Um, Hacker Noon is DR88, so it's a nice backlink, right? It's kind of a backlink that you would like to have. Um, And scrolling down here, you can see the title of the article is Dear Google, it's time to kill backlinks. So, and then they're linking to us, a link building agency. So scrolling down here, I'll search for Sir Links a lot. Here we go. Number three, Chris from Sir Links a lot ranked a keyword with backlinks alone to make the traffic jump from 160 to 4,000 a month, published in 2022. Clicking that here, it's a case study that I did a while back. And yeah, this is actually a 100% natural link. We didn't do any kind of outreach for this. And I think you can understand we wouldn't do the kind of outreach because it's a very like negative connotation here. You know, they're talking about killing backlinks and why backlinks are a problem. And he's talking about link building agencies and how we're like evil and blah blah blah. But yeah, he's linking to this case study I did over here where we ranked a EMD from like nothing to like number one. So you can see this traffic graph just went like straight up. The keyword just went straight to number one after a couple months or something like that. Anyway, you can check that out on your own time if you want. But back to the question that the guy asked. No, I don't have any connections there. But the thing I would like to talk about on this one is that just because your competitors have certain backlinks does not mean that you need them. And so this is something that I've seen um, I've seen this quite a bit as far as like, gurus or other YouTube videos or courses or whatever. Basically, they say, go check your competitors. If your competitors have these like this backlink, you need that one too. But it's not really the case. Like if all of your competitors have the backlink, then, I think I would probably spend some more energy on it and say maybe it is worthwhile for me to try to get one of these too. Because at that point, like if all of your competitors have the backlink, then it's like, okay, why is this site linking to all the competitors but not you? It might make Google kind of you might kind of like stand out in that regard, right? But if it's just like one competitor and you're like, oh, they've got these three super powerful links and this is the only reason they're ranking, and so I need that too. I think that's first of all, three powerful links is not the reason that anyone is ranking, unless you're like super low competition or something. But aside from that, like, yeah, you just don't need that unless it's like all your competitors, like I said. Like you can just get instead of those three powerful links, you can get three other powerful links. Like you don't need the same exact ones. And I've seen a lot of people kind of do this, and they end up wasting a lot of time like trying to chase these links for whatever reason. Like so, for example. Maybe you can get links on HackerNoon. I don't know. I actually don't know. But like, so what if someone saw us and then saw that we have this link from HackerNoon, which came to us completely naturally, and then you go and you spend like what, an hour, a day, 2 days, 3 days trying to figure out how you can get the same link. Like, if I got it, then it must be possible for you to get it. But it didn't happen like that, right? We got it completely naturally, and so it might not be possible for you to get the same link like that. And yeah, it's just not necessary at all. You can just go get other powerful links. Um, let's see what we got here. Y'all guys better ask some questions, or else we're gonna make this a short stream once I run out of these other questions. How would you guys build pillow links to a drop shipping store that doesn't display an address or a phone number on their website? Also, for the same purpose, would it still be a good idea to grab pillow links from you guys? Um, yeah, so pillow links just means like any kind of foundational backlink. That's the other name that we call them is foundational backlinks. So let me go ahead and pull up our website so I can show you something real quick. So on our website, and I think we're kind of like one of the only people that actually call them pillow links. Is a name that actually Nick made it up a long time ago. I think Nick made it up. I'm not really sure. But anyway, uh, so he's probably talking about our pillow links packs here, and scrolling down, you can see it's a packs of 30 links and can include stuff like citations, niche directories, forum profiles, social profiles, Web 2.0s, social signals, and a bunch of other stuff. But these aren't the only kind of pillow links. Um, in general, pillow links are just like any kind of foundational backlink. So it can include other stuff like uh, audio links, video links, like stuff from like YouTube, just literally anything, blog comments, forum comments, not just forum profiles. Basically all of this stuff, and a lot of it ends up being no follow. But the main thing about pillow links is that it's any kind of link where you can just basically go create it. Like you don't need to do outreach. You don't need to send them an email and say, hey, we want to post an article on your site, or can you include a link to my site in your article that you already have? You don't have to do anything like that. It's generally a bunch of kind of almost the same ideas like UGC, right? User generated content. You can just go to the website and do it yourself. It just takes a little bit of time. Um, so as far as doing pillow links for a drop shipping store and you don't want to display your address and phone number on the website, that's fine. Like you don't, creating pillow links are, first of all, links are not on your website. They're off of your website. So even if you included an address on the pillow links, it's not going to be on your website anyway, right? Second of all, I'm guessing you're referring to citations, which is just one type of pillow link. And you don't need to worry about what citation, if citations have your address, because literally no one ever looks at citations. And so, for example, we get a lot of people who are, local SEO and they're doing, a service-based business. So meaning that customers do not come to their location and they're buying citations from us and they say, hey, we want citations, but we don't want the address on it. That's not how citations work. You have to put the address on the citation and it has to have like NAP, name, address, phone number. That's what makes it a citation. But you don't need to worry about it being visible or not. Um, yeah, it just, no one's ever going to see the citation. Just go ahead and build them. Don't put the address on your website. Everything's fine, right? It's just what you got to do to build those types of links. But if for some reason that really freaks you out, like you're real, like kind of like privacy, you're really paranoid about privacy or something, which you don't need to be. Like I said, no one's ever going to see this stuff. Then you could just not do citations, right? But actually, I would go ahead and do citations. They're one of my favorite kinds of pillow links. Yeah, I would just say, just get over the idea of your address kind of being out there or whatever. But yeah, otherwise, just build all the other stuff. And also, if you wanted to get pillow links from us and you didn't want citations, you can actually include that on your order. When you're placing your order, you can just say, no citations, please. And a team will see it and not build any citations for the order. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Looks like I only got one, two, three, four, five questions left, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and take off unless y'all start asking something. No pressure, but ask me questions or I'm gonna go. All right, let's see here. Thoughts on Chamber of Commerce backlinks? I have several hyper-local businesses, and I'm wondering if paying the 500-ish per year to join the local Chamber of Commerce is worth it. If Google was perfect, it would attribute a ton of value for this link since they need to validate my business. But objective SEO value is met, 25 DA and 30 DR. Bonus, it would allow me to add their logo to my local page, which would further solidify that I am a legit business at location X. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll just start answering each part at a time. So as far as it adding a trust badge to your website, the logo that you can put on the website, I think that's awesome. Trust badges are like a huge thing for um, that. Yeah, just they make people trust you. They do exactly what the name of them is, right? So obviously, I like that kind of thing. If you didn't want to do the Chamber of Commerce link, you could also do something like getting a press release. We sell press releases, but we sell the press releases we sell are pretty much like one of the cheapest press releases you can find. But if you wanted some like super like higher tier websites, like our press releases are only $79, but you could go pay like $600 for a press release or something, which ends up being like what the same price of Chamber of Commerce for 1 year or whatever. And you can get links from stuff like like whatever MSN, Business Insider, stuff like that. So if you wanted trust badges, you could literally go do that and then put those trust badges on your website instead, right? Just an option. But anyway, back to the idea of Chamber of Commerce backlinks. So I'm not a huge local SEO guy, and so maybe I don't have the best advice on this. I just want to be honest about that. However, when I was doing local SEO a little bit back, and even now, I feel like I still really like Chamber of Commerce backlinks. Um, but yeah, it can be kind of pricey, right? So it just really depends on what the client or what you are willing to pay for it. But I think the most important thing to do would be, and it's kind of like one of the last questions I was talking about. If like all of your competitors have it and you don't have it, I would go get it. But if like none of your competitors have it, and then you're thinking about should I get it, I would be much more iffy about it for that kind of price, right? However, what I will say is that if none of your competitors have it and you are the only one that does have it, that could actually have some value as well, where, Google could say, wow, these are like the most legit out of all of these guys, essentially. But anyway, I think I would still be much more interested in getting it. Like if all of my competitors had it and I didn't have it versus no one has it, I would be the only one having it. And then you start talking about DR and DA down here. For this type of link, I wouldn't think about that at all. Um, so when we think about like backlinks, and I think I have Probably backlinks. So it's not. I've got an article right here. I'll pull up really quick for you guys that I wrote a little while back. What makes a quality backlink? You can go and just search for this on our site if you want to read it. But what I talk about as far as what makes a quality link is like authority, trust, or authority, relevance, and power, and how these things can change. You can basically have a more relevant link or a less relevant link, but it's higher authority and can be really good. Or it can be super relevant, but not very powerful with authority and power, and that's still a good link. It's just there's different kinds of links, right? And you want like all three of these things, but no link will have all three of them. Or some links might have all three of them, but it's very rare to get that right. But anyway, one of the other things that we kind of like think about it as part of authority, but it's actually kind of not part of authority, is the idea of trust. And so trust is kind of like this very vague concept that Google uses. So basically, of course, when you get a backlink, you get the like the link juice flowing to your website, right? The backlink authority going from their page to your page. But you also get the trust going from their site to your page. So let's say you have a kind of lower DR, like governmental agency website, right? Or a Chamber of Commerce link. These very kind of like official, very just trustworthy things. That's definitely something to consider outside of the scope of the way we kind of normally look at backlinks as SEOs, at least, which is all about kind of like link juice, right? So as far as, I wouldn't worry about the DA and DR at all for this type of link. I would just be thinking 100% about trust, if that makes sense. And yeah, hopefully that helps. See what we got next. No questions, guys? I guess that is a weird stream. You guys are probably all tired or still sleeping if you're in the US. But yeah, got any questions, guys? Go ahead and ask. Or else I've got one, two, three, four more questions, and I'm gonna take off. Okay, rank and rent. Would it be better for me to have one website per city or one website for the whole country? So for this one, it's really going to depend on what amount of like time you're willing to put in the project and what kind of like budget you have for the project. Okay. So if you're going to do, for example, a rank and rent that was, let's say, best plumber Austin Texas.com or whatever, right? And you just want to rank this one website and then lease it out to one client, right? This is a lot less work than if you did a national rank and rent project, which would be something like, best plumbers USA, whatever. There's bestplumbersusa.com, which is kind of like a national rank and rep project, right? So on this one, on the second one, Best Plumbers USA, you would have like a million location landing pages, and each location landing page would be yeah, ranking in its own city, and then each one of those you would need to strike a deal up and negotiate with the other people. So not only is it more of an effort as far as you're going to have a ton more stuff to keep track of, and maybe like I don't know if you're doing GMBs or not, but GMBs in like a million different cities. If you're not doing GMBs or just doing organic whatever, you would still have to negotiate the deals with like all of these people everywhere. There's a ton of time and energy doing this stuff. It can be quite hard for rank and rent, or at least so I'm told. I'm not a big rank and rent guy myself, but have some good friends that do quite a bit of it. Um, but yeah, but not only from like the time investment like this, and then of course including like content and all that, whatever, but let's not including just a site, just from a backlink authority perspective as well for the second project, Best Plumbers USA, you would also need a lot more backlink authority. And part of the reason for that is for, on this first one, Best Plumber Austin Texas.com, the whole website is hyper relevant for that one city. So because that one website is hyper relevant for that one city, you're going to have a lot easier time ranking it. This is just kind of the way that like exact match and partial match domains work, right? And in general, yeah, you're going to need a lot less backlink authority to rent something like this. It's more like a little sniper site versus this big, large national kind of project where you're going to need a lot more backlink authority because the domain is not super specific for the one location, but for all of these locations. So yeah, going to require more authority. But if you want this kind of like really big project, right, and your scope is bigger and you have more resources and you are thinking, okay, this is going to be a really long-term project and I really want to see this thing through and yeah, make a ton of money instead of just, just one little project. Um, you could definitely go for it. But I guess if you're like just starting out and you're kind of new to rank and rent, and I guess if you're asking this question, you probably are new to rank and rent, I would start with a smaller one. Because yeah, you haven't done any of this before. You don't know anything about how to like negotiate deals with these people. You don't know how hard it's going to be. You might not even like doing rank and rent. You might just say, after this first one, just, screw this. I want to do something else. So yeah, I would definitely start with a smaller one for now. And then if you have success there, then you could think about doing a bigger one. But you might not even want to do like a bigger one as far as the full like United States. Like maybe you could just do best plumbers in Texas then, like the state, because there's quite a bit of cities in Texas. And you could start with the lower competition cities, and then you could slowly work your way up to the higher competition cities, kind of like that. Yeah, hopefully this helps. Oh, we actually got a question. Ben. If anyone else has questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat, or else I'm going to answer a couple more here and get out of here. Let's see what you're asking. And apologies again, guys, for doing the stream at a completely random time. But yeah, we've been putting this off and we need to get some more videos out on YouTube. All right. A few days after the March update, our local service website rankings tanked with no real reason from top five to third page. Curious how you'd recommend identifying the root cause and planning recovery. That's actually interesting because I haven't really heard of any local sites getting hit during the update. But it's possible it could get hit because it was just a core update, right? But the large majority of people that are saying that they got hit by something were ended up being kind of affiliate or ads based, what you'd call like content sites or niche sites or whatever you call them. Um, so yeah, if you got hit during a March core update, there's the thing about these updates is it's not always easy to diagnose the problem. It can actually be super hard to diagnose the problem, especially if you're a beginner, because you don't know what you're looking at. And even as someone who's been doing this for a long time, it's still hard. This is why these kind of like auditing and consulting services can be so expensive, right? Because at the end of the day, this stuff is quite can be quite complex because there's no answers given to you. And SEO is kind of like this black box, right, where it's hard to see into, and you're just kind of making educated guesses. But okay, March core update. The biggest things I would probably look at um, would be I would go ahead and look at your content. Make sure you haven't done any kind of like AI spam, something like that. Maybe make sure your content's not super generic or whatever, EEAT, that kind of thing. Make sure you don't have like an insanely spammy like backlink profile. Um, but yeah, in general, core updates like literally cover everything, so it can be pretty hard to tell you at this point. If you want, I'm not going to be able to do it today, but if you want, you can go ahead and email us your URL, your website. You can email it at info@sirlinksalot.co and just tell them you want it audited on the next live stream, and we can do that. But it's going to be a live stream audit, and we won't show the website and we won't tell the niche or anything. But we're only going to dedicate 5 or 10 minutes to it. We can take a quick look at it and see what we think. So it's not going to be like a super in-depth audit like you'd pay like $1,000 or $5,000 for or whatever. But yeah, we can definitely take a look for you. But definitely not going to be able to tell you just by what you've given me here on this question. I will add one more thing. Um, Actually, I won't add one more thing. We'll go ahead and stop this one there. All right. Hopefully that helps. Sorry. Uh, okay. What have you made of this AI overview madness? Do you think informational keywords are good as dead now? I'm loving your new channel, by the way. So much free value. Yeah, so I've got a new YouTube channel just with my name, Chris Gegis, that I just started recently. on this channel here, we do a bunch of just like kind of like live streams and answering questions and things like that. We have the podcast as well. On my new channel, I'm doing like a screen share and just do a kind of a different style of video over there. But yeah, as far as AI overview stuff, honestly, it's just not something I'm worrying about. We've 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 been talking about SGE coming for quite a while now. So we've known SGE is coming for quite a while now. Now they're calling it AI overview. Whatever it is, it's when you search on Google and you get an AI answer like right under there, right? And so the thing with AI overview that I've seen so far is that they've reduced it. First of all, they've reduced it from about, I think it's 40% of keyword searches were getting an AI answer. I think now it's at like 16%. I could be wrong on this, so don't quote me, but I'm fairly positive that it's been a drastically reduced number of searches that it's showing up for, so it's like 16%. But like you are mentioning here, informational keywords are definitely the most at risk for this type of thing. And it's also going to depend on like your niche, for example. So, let's say or at least the click through rate you might lose from this type of thing is going to depend on your niche. Or, it'll affect everything that it answers for. But let's say for SEO, for example, if someone types into Google, does link building work in 2024? Are they going to trust an AI answer for this? Because, SEO and link building is not really something you would trust Google to answer. And let's pretend it wasn't Google. Let's just pretend it was an AI answer. The thing about SEO and link building is it's such like I feel like only like specialists really understand this stuff, and a lot of the content you see on the internet, especially if AI is just taking an average and giving you an answer, is going to be like not good. It's going to be very generic. It's not going to be what you need to really like get that like boost and like get to the top, right? So like depending on like what the niche is, so even though it could be an informational query, it could be a query where they just do not trust the AI at all for an answer for it. But if it's like something like really simple, like um, why is my cat coughing? I would be afraid of a website based around these types of keywords. Absolutely. Um, but not even from just AI overview. So if you are an informational type website, or you have a bunch of informational type content on your website, and you're monetized with affiliate and ads, or just affiliate, or just ads, like now you're getting hit with AI overview, potentially just taking all your traffic, and Google's also targeting you because you're monetized with only affiliate or ads, the helpful content updates or whatever, even though they don't seem to be about helpful content. It seems to be about more like monetization. It's just not a good time at all to be like an informational based site. However, especially if the informational search is something a little bit more complex, like it can be an informational search and still be complex, then I wouldn't really worry too much about it, because I don't think the answer is going to be in depth enough and the people will want to know more. But for like super simple informational searches, absolutely be worried. If you have an entire website that's like, why why is my dog, I don't know, doing this, or why is my cat this, or stuff like that, I would be very afraid, and I would highly consider pivoting at this point in time. But otherwise, I'm just not too worried about it. We'll just see how things go. But that's also just kind of how I approach SEO and business overall. Is there's always a million things to worry about in the future. SEO is always dead. SEO is always about to die. Um, it's never ending, year after year after year. People are always freaking out about something. Mobile first indexing, rich snippets. It's always been something that's going to kill everything. And so even though I think this is kind of like the biggest threat that there's been so far, I'm still not that worried about it. Because if you're actually learning SEO and you actually know how to do SEO, you're actually taking away all these other skills that you've learned in SEO, which is how to do online business. Like you're gonna be like just fine. Like I'm not worried about my career or my future at all, and I don't think you should be either. But yeah, if you're like all eggs in one basket and you've just really been banking on this one singular business model, ranking super low competition informational keywords, I think it's time to pivot, boys. All right. Hopefully that helps. Hey, is it possible that the less on-page optimization has no H2 and H1, no bolded keywords, etc., the better ranking it gets in recent algo updates? I've heard pe some people saying that they believe that over optimization was could have been responsible for some of the drops. I can't remember who I heard saying this type of stuff, but or they say, the articles are too SEO'd or whatever. But I don't think that's really the thing. So like, for example, I'll just pull up this one article on our website here because I pulled this up for a recent example um, on a different video I made. But so, here's a article we have on Sir Links a lot that I wrote about toxic backlinks, right? So I've got the keyword up here in the URL, toxic backlinks. I've got the keyword up here in the title, toxic backlinks, finding, identifying, dealing with them. It's exactly the same as the H1. And then, yeah, you can see URL is a little bit different. So these are the three main spots. These are like the three main things about on-page SEO. If you do these three things and one more thing, I'll tell you about in a second, like you, you don't really need to worry about too much. So we got keyword here, we got keyword here, and we got keyword title. So those three things, and then getting the keyword and variations of the keyword and related keywords in your content, right? This is on-page SEO. You don't need to think about any crazy ratios. I've even been using a lot of like tools less, like Surfer or even like Neuron or whatever you use for on-page optimizations. I feel like this stuff is just, it's not super necessary, but if you're a beginner, it does a good job of kind of pushing you in the right direction. It can also be good if you have like writing teams, as far as like automation and giving them something, some kind of like guidance, because let's face it, not everyone's going to be a professional SEO. But anyway, I just don't think it's as necessary as a lot of people think to like really super optimize this stuff. But absolutely, I would 100% not stop putting the keyword in these three main spots, and I wouldn't consider that over optimization at all. And I think you'll see that for pretty much all, I'm gonna say like 99.5% of keywords ranking, people are going to have the main keyword in these three spots still, and that will never change. What might change is like how SEO the article is, which is where they try to get all this topical coverage. Like maybe they start the article with maybe even like this, like what is a toxic backlink? I guess this one isn't. This is different because this query toxic backlinks is like actually learning about toxic backlinks. But let's say the keyword was something like how to disavow toxic backlinks. So if the article is how to disavow toxic backlinks, and then we're starting the article with what is a toxic backlink, like I feel like this is too SEO'd, right? This stuff was like more stuff that we did in the past, but now you're like you're not giving them the answer they want. Like give them the answer as fast as possible. And this is part of the reason why we do these like key takeaways at the top, right? But yeah, so yeah, I don't think unless they're doing like super like over optimized kind of stuff like this, or like tons of like FAQs maybe, or like almost like borderline keyword stuffing or and stuff like that, keyword stuffing like H2s or whatever. And by the way, I would still put like you try to get some keywords and related keywords in your H2s. I don't think that's over optimization either. But if you're going too crazy with it, I guess it could be a thing. But honestly, it's not really something I'm looking at all. As far as the recent algo updates, I think it has much more to do with your monetization method than anything else. I don't think the updates were about helpful content at all. I think that it was, I mean, it's probably like a much smaller signal, or at least just not the overarching signal. I think the main signal they were looking at is how you're monetized, and then from there they kind of looked at some other signals, and it wasn't just helpful content. I'm not really sure what they were looking at, and I don't think anyone does quite yet. But yeah, if you just saw a bunch of like the good sites that got hit as well, and the one thing they had in common is they were just monetized with affiliate or ads. The content was great, first-hand experience, just great stuff, and still get hit, right? But yeah, I wouldn't worry about basic on-page stuff. You're not going to get yourself in any trouble with that. Well, at least we finally got some questions rolling in, right? What time did I start this stream at? Looks like we've been going for about 40 minutes. Okay, we got about 20 minutes left. Hey there, is it a good idea to buy cheap PBN links for Web 2.0 Parasite SEO sites? Yeah, you could go ahead and give it a try. I guess, what I was gonna say was that you might want to chill out with Parasite for a minute because they just had that update. But the thing is as far as the Parasite SEO update goes, it looks like the only things that really got hit were like coupon sections of some of like the big websites. I really haven't seen, I haven't done like the most research into it myself because I'm not a big Parasite SEO guy. But I think like Outlook India and a couple other sites got like some manual actions or whatever, some of like the big popular parasites. But what's essentially happened is that a lot of these parasites got hit with manually because they can't solve it algorithmically because they don't want to change how much they favor backlink authority. So the only reason Parasite works is because backlink authority is so strong in their algorithm right now. So they have these strong sites with a ton of backlink authority. You can post any content you want on them and you rank instantly, right? So they manually took some of these sites out of the SERPs and then it just gets replaced with new parasites that they didn't give manual actions to yet. New sites that have good backlink authority that are, also accepting Parasite posts. So yeah, but okay, so they did do some like manual actions. They did go after like coupon code sections or whatever. But there was supposed to be an algorithmic component to the update as well, where that's, different from manual actions. Manual actions done by actual people saying, okay, penalty for you versus the algorithm handling it automatically. And as far as I know, they said that was coming, but I don't think it's come yet. And I'm honestly pretty skeptical on if that is going to do anything at all, because I feel like this is almost impossible to handle algorithmically and not manually if they just continue to favor backlink authority as much as they do instead of like other signals, like if you have more like expertise on a specific topic, if your website is more niche down, more relevant for that topic. But anyway, I've completely gone off topic here. Can you buy cheap VPN links for Web 2.0 Parasite sites? Yeah, absolutely you can. What I would say is that first of all, just see like where it lands, right? If it lands like way far back, you might not even want to build links for it. It just might not be possible to rank on whatever free parasite um I guess you didn't say. Well, Web 2.0 is generally free parasites. Okay. So yeah, if it's a free parasite, just put the article out there, see where it lands. If it's like way far back and it's not anywhere on like, page two or whatever, maybe page three, I don't know if I would build links for it at all. And then you could use cheap PBN links for it. You could use other stuff like link insertions or guest posts or whatever. In general, when people do link building for Parasite, they are using kind of the cheaper stuff. But yeah, in general, you just want more, you just need to put as much juice to these things as possible. So if it's for like a lucrative term, like something that can actually make you a lot of money, and then you write the post and then it's already on the bottom of page one or the top of page two or something, you could actually consider buying some good links for it. But yeah, you could do some cheap PBN links for it as well. The good news is, if you're doing these Web 2.0 parasites, then it's not your own website or whatever, so you're not going to get penalized for it. And so, yeah, you can be a little bit spammier, a little bit more aggressive. Um, yeah, can kind of use whatever you want, right? And then if you wanted to use our links, if you wanted to use our links over at sirlinksalot.co, you could use, I would recommend either our PBN niche edits. So it's a link insertion onto a PBN website. It's like the cheapest PBN links we sell. Or you could do our low authority niche edits, low authority link insertions, our quote barrage packs. It's only like RD 10 to 50 websites, but it's pretty much like the cheapest link from a real website that's not a PBN that you could possibly get. Like these things are only like I think like 20 or like $30 per link, but it's an actual like link, low authority link, but it's an actual real website, not a PBN. Yeah, those are the things I would use the most. And then if it was like super lucrative and I really wanted to give it a push, I'd consider building some other more expensive stuff, but I'd give it some time and kind of see what happens with it before I start doing any kind of bigger investment like that. Okay, let's see what we got here. Can I just sell rank and rent websites instead of managing them and where to find buyers? So yeah, if you do that, it's no longer a rank and rent. If you're selling a website like that, it's no longer a rank and rent. It's something completely different, right? But yeah, you could. Um, I'm not sure. I mean, Yeah, I'm not sure where you would find a buyer. I guess what I would do is I would approach the business owners in the same way that a rink and rent project would work. Is just you go to you call people in your niche, you cold call them, and you tell them what's going on. You know, hey, I've got this website. It's ranking for the keywords you want to rank for. Do you want it? And then you can have two websites on page one instead of just one website on page one. Get double the leads. I think the problem with that is, rank and rent is already difficult. And well, ranking is easy, but the difficult part is securing these deals with what ends up normally being kind of like more like blue collar people or whatever. But they don't have to be blue collar. These deals with any kind of people who are buying leads from these websites can be hard to actually negotiate and hard to get people to sign up on because a lot of the times they end up being very like skeptical of how it's going to actually benefit them, if it's worth it, and they just think they don't really trust you very much, and they don't really understand the kind of value it can bring to them, right? And so a lot of times what people end up doing is they'll even start giving away the leads to people for free. So you've got like an automatic, they call the number on your website, and you just have it automatically forward to someone else's phone number. And when they pick up the phone, it'll first say at the very beginning of the phone call, like, hey, this is a free lead from sirlinksalot.co. And so they're like, what is this? But then there's a person on the phone. They're like, hey, we want to buy your stuff. And then you like call them like a month later or whatever, like, hey, I'm Chris at sirlinksalot.co. We've been sending you leads. Like, have you noticed that? And then you have much easier in at that point. But anyway, so I thought, even when you're doing this, it's like you're giving away leads for free at a while, just so they'll get on the phone with you and kind of like understand that you can actually provide them value, right? Um, and even then, it's supposed to just be a little bit tough to do, but it's possible. But I just think if you're actually selling an entire website to these people, this would be infinitely harder than trying to sell them leads. Because I'm guessing you're going to be asking for a much larger lump sum, for example, than if they were to just sign on for 1 month, if you know what I'm saying. So you're taking something that's already hard, and I feel like you're making it harder. But you could try it if you want. I've never tried it myself, so um, if you do try it, go ahead and let us know how it goes over in our Facebook group, SEO Roundtable, because I'd be interested. But sounds I'd be kind of wary of doing that. Jaden says, "Great answer, thanks. You are welcome, Jaden." Grab a drink of water real quick. Doing a lot of talking when Nick's not here. What time is it where you guys live? It's almost like 10 p.m. here in Kuala Lumpur. I was supposed to hang out with my friend, but they canceled, so figure I'd do a live stream. All right, let's see. What's your recommended link building strategy for a local business past the initial foundational profiles, citations, etc., to look as natural as possible? Yeah, so if you've already done all your foundational link building, then the next thing you want to be doing is going for things like guest posts and link insertions. And there's more than that, but I'll do this first. Because normally when people talk about like SEO and link building, these are pretty much like the two types of link, guest post and link insertions. These are two types of links that people really use, and they're almost the same thing. Guest posts are just new articles. Niche edits are existing articles, but you're getting links from real websites in an article that's like related to whatever your topic is, right? Doesn't have to be exactly the same thing, but close enough. And as you're a local business, it also depends like what your niche is and like how high your competition is. So like go check out like some of your competitors and like see what their link building looks like. Like what is their DR? Like how many good links do they actually have like this? Go into their backlink profiles and look around, set some filters, and you'll probably see a lot of these guys are only going to have between like 5 and 10 like decent links in there. So you could use like guest posts and link insertions to do stuff like that. And in general, if especially if you're local, but you could just do these things like to your homepage, right? Just try to power up your homepage and let link just kind of flow through your site for now. Just use natural anchor text, like use branded anchor text. You could use URL anchor text. You could use generic anchor text. I like branded a lot. I use a lot of branded anchor text. Um, or like branded variations, stuff like that. And then, yeah, I mean, eventually you could eventually start linking to other pages on your website if it makes sense. But in general, for a lot of local websites, you might just need some homepage link building with these niche edits and guest posts like this, right? But aside from that, you're also, because you're a local business, you're going to want to focus on some getting some local backlinks. And that is not a service that we provide at Sir Links a lot. But what you can do for this is, so local backlinks, it means, you want to get links from websites from people like in your area, right? Like in your location. And what you can do is you could pop in some competitors, but it doesn't even have to just be competitors. You can also pop in, you could pop in websites into Ahrefs or whatever tool you have for any kind of business in your area, and just see like where they're getting some like kind of local links from, right? And then you can figure out, you can reverse engineer how to get those same links, or links from like similar websites or from the same websites. Um, you could also look into doing stuff like, I know a lot of local guys do like donations, right? But for example, you sponsor Billy's softball team, and then you get a link from their softball website to you, right? Not exactly a super relevant link because your website's not going to be about softball. You're probably like a plumber or something, right? And so, not super relevant, but it's a location-based backlink, and you're showing that you're part of this community. You're showing Google that you belong in this city. You're getting location relevance, not niche relevance, which are different things. If you could get niche relevance and local relevance together, that'd be cool. But yeah, before you do any kind of partnerships, definitely make sure they're going to actually be linking to you and stuff. So you could see like if other people who've sponsored them, if they've actually linked out to them, or you could just ask them straight up. There could be a way to get local links, but yeah, I'd probably just reverse engineer for your local stuff, and then for like guest post link insertions, yeah, homepage, natural anchor text only. And then you could consider linking to other pages on your website later on, but you don't really need to at this point, especially for like super low competition. Hopefully that helps. Um, how, sorry. How deep do you recommend building your tiers out for local SEO? Is it necessary? I've heard there's a huge benefit from building tiers to the more authoritative citations such as Yelp, etc. I know some people like to do tiered link building. What I will say with tiered link building is this is one of the things where it can definitely work, but it's also something that I'm slightly cautious about, or that I am cautious about, because, our job as SEOs is to rank now, but our job as SEOs is to also rank 5 years from now, especially if you're working on clients' websites. Like, if you're doing something that, ends up getting them their entire website destroyed 5 years down the line, I mean, you bear responsibility for this, right? So a lot of times when people use tiered link building, they're talking about insanely cheap, crazy, like spammy kind of PBNs and other type of like automated link building type stuff, right? And so even though it can definitely work now, I'm a little bit worried about it not working in the future, or it could even be something that you could get like an algorithmic hit for, or even like a manual penalty for somewhere later down the line. Again, not super worried about that now, but could be a problem, yes. So it just depends like what your project is and what kind of like risk you want to take. But if you're willing to take the risk, you could definitely do some tiered link building for citations. I know Jackie Cho does this thing where he has this like crazy spammy PBN vendor that he goes to. I can't remember the name. And then he builds out the citation, or he builds out the PBN links to the citations, and he gets like map embeds on them and stuff as well, and uses like NAP and stuff like that. I think that's what he does. I can't really remember. But anyway, it's kind of interesting. But in general, I honestly don't do much tiered link building at all. As far as what I do for tiered link building, I do the stuff that makes sense to do. Does it make sense for citations to get backlinks to them? No. Who in their right mind is going to build a backlink to a citation? Just just think about it for a second. Like, who would do that? It doesn't make any kind of sense. Can it work? It definitely can work. But again, we're thinking a little bit in the future, and we're trying to build like naturally here, or at least I am. And yeah, so I end up doing tiered link building for like super important stuff. Like, for example, your big social profiles, like your Facebook page, your YouTube channel, whatever your important social media is. If you got like your local, maybe you got a page on like Yelp or something, or some like big directory you're in, stuff like that, right? Versus like citations, it's something that just doesn't make sense at all. It's more of a kind of like a spammy, definitely much more like black hat tactic, right? But yeah, again, not saying it can't work, but just not really my style. And so, yeah, hopefully that answer helps you a little bit. Hey, MD, but my name's not Nick. Nick's my partner. I'm not here right now, or Nick's not here right now. Sorry. How much time I got left here? Looks like I got about 5 minutes. All right, guys. If you guys have any questions left, go ahead and ask them, or else I'm going to probably answer this and jump off. But yeah, any questions left, go ahead and pop them in the chat and I'll get to them and then I'll be leaving here pretty soon. What do you think about the future of rank and rent SEO? So I think rank and rent SEO and local SEO are actually really safe. I think they're maybe like the safest parts of SEO right now. And this is because yeah, I mean, when you're looking for a business in your local area, that's what you're looking for. You don't want Google's AI answer. You don't want Google shopping, stuff popping up everywhere. It's just, they also don't target local SEO very heavily as far as, the recent HCU or the core update, which really went after sites that were monetized with like affiliate and ads, right? So local based businesses are legit companies, like brick and mortar, physical location, lots of trust as far as like Google is concerned. And yeah, so I don't think local is going anywhere. And rank and rent is pretty much the same exact thing as local, right? Um, I guess it depends if you're doing like a GMB or not. The stuff with like faking the GMBs or getting fake GMBs is definitely a little bit harder now than it used to be. It used to be way easy to do the fake GMB stuff, but they've really kind of cracked down on that. But I know a lot of the big rank and rent guys like James Dooley and them, um, they uh, they don't even do GMBs. They do 100% organic, and they've just decided that because they have this huge empire of rank and rent sites that dealing with these GMBs and the potential lawsuits that could come from that, it's not worth it. I don't know if you remember, but there was a guy who was doing large scale GMB manipulation that Google ended up suing the pants off of this guy. Um, but yeah, I think they kind of went after him as an example, and it was kind of like a bigger target. So if you're only doing like one or two rank and rounds or whatever, it's a couple small sites, maybe not that big of a deal, but also just a risk to keep in mind, right? But anyway, yeah, local I think is super safe. Rank and run I think is super safe. I wouldn't worry too much about these things. I think they're super safe. All right. I noticed you've been growing your personal socials and doing really well. Have you got any tips on how to grow Twitter and Facebook? Do you use any scheduling tools? So as far as Facebook, I haven't been trying to grow at all. On my Facebook, I've just added a ton of people over since I've started doing SEO. I just whenever I would like see someone and I recognize them, whatever, I would just start adding them. So, or they would add me, just from talking in the different Facebook groups and stuff. And so I've built up a big, uh, very large number of people on Facebook just by doing that naturally. It wasn't like on Facebook, I was never trying to like post and like to gain a following, right? And then after that, now people, I get like a million friend requests a day, and I probably should go through that and accept some of them. But a lot of it feels like kind of like spam or whatever. But anyway, Twitter feels super hard. I don't know if any of you guys saw my video on my other channel, but anyway, Twitter is hard, at least for what I'm doing over there. It takes like a lot of time, like commenting. Your posts don't get very much reach. I went over there and basically what I did is I added like maybe 100 or 150 people that I knew on Twitter. or just names that I recognized or whatever, just from the SEO industry. And then I just started like posting and commenting on people's stuff. And it's definitely growing, but it's growing super slow. But my LinkedIn, on the other hand, LinkedIn seems really easy to grow on. And I did the same thing over there as I just added like 150 people that I knew in the SEO industry. And then I just started posting. And I don't even do any like liking or commenting. I just like post my own stuff and then I just get off the website. Um, but I mean, you could like go around like commenting stuff if you really wanted to take it even more seriously, I guess. I know some people definitely do that. But yeah, I just post over there and the reach you can get and the amount of like people like following you or connection requesting is actually insane on LinkedIn. I feel like LinkedIn is by far the easiest one right now. I guess it really kind of depends on your niche, but I feel like LinkedIn's probably good for like any niche, right? And it's very like business oriented. So if you're really like trying to get like leads and stuff, I feel like LinkedIn is super good. Twitter, Twitter, yeah, is more like there's a lot of people just like shit posting and like talking shit and stuff like that. But you can definitely get a lot of like clout over there as well. I guess it would just depend on like what your niche is and like where your kind of like audience is. But for me as SEO, I want to be over there as well, just because there's some interesting stuff going on Twitter. Um, and then as far as scheduling tools, no, I'm not using any scheduling tools right now. I'm doing everything manually because basically I want to like figure out I'm treating this kind of like as a learning experience while I'm doing it, right? Like I'm not trying to take any like big like shortcuts or anything. I'm not running any kind of like ads. I'm not doing anything to really try to like hack engagement. I'm not using any kind of like AI automation anywhere. Um, I am posting like for I'll make a post and I'll post it like on the three platforms at like the same time or whatever, but I'm not using any kind of like AI automation. I'm not using any kind of scheduling. I'm actually posting them, and then when people start commenting, I start commenting like immediately. Like I answer them immediately, because that gives the post like good engagement, helps them like take off or whatever. Um, but yeah, no tools right now. If I was going to use a tool, I think the one I was looking at, the one I would start with at least, I think was called Buffer. Buffer, buffer.io maybe. Anyway, I think it was kind of like the cheaper, one of the cheaper ones. Um, and then, yeah, if I needed something later on, maybe I could upgrade to something else. I know we use Hootsuite for Sirlinks a lot, which definitely has a little bit of a bigger price tag on it. And I didn't think that was necessary for my social, just considering it's very simple, like what I'm posting to. You can just like copy and paste it a couple times. Um, I mean, I guess you could like spread your posts out on on like, because I just do like one post a day essentially. But I guess if you wanted to like space them out like throughout the day, then you could do that. But I'm just doing one post a day at this point too, so I don't think you even need to do more than that. Except on Twitter, I do more than one post a day a lot of the time. So I'll just post like kind of these small posts, like really like random stuff, just like just kind of like a stream of thought. It's like whatever I'm thinking, I'll just kind of like throw it out there sometimes, or do like quote tweeting and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, so like I was saying before, I'm not trying to automate anything right now. I'm not trying to hack engagement, like no shortcuts. I'm literally trying to just kind of like learn how the networks work, like super organically, and trying to actually make like good like quality connections with people rather than like kind of like a more like spammy approach, which what I see a lot of SEOs doing. Um, you know, they'll have like a big following like somewhere, like maybe they have a big following on X, or maybe they have a big following on YouTube, or they have a big following whatever, but then wherever they don't have a big following on, it's like they just start spamming kind of these AI generated like summaries of stuff. I don't know. I just feel like, and I've watched how it works, and it seems like it doesn't really work for them very well. It's just like something they just keep like throwing out there. But I've seen some of it like actually work if they have like a really big following. But anyway, I'm trying to maybe since my name's not as big as some of like the other bigger names, I'm not really trying to go that route yet because it's not just like a free money grab. So yeah, I'm kind of like building more of an organic audience at this point. Yeah, hopefully that helps. All right, that was a huge ramble. X is hard work indeed. Yeah, X is uh, X is definitely the hardest one, but I still like it over there. Even though like sometimes I'm just like it's like the end of my day and I'm like I'm not going on X. I just don't feel like going on X for 30 minutes or whatever, or even 45 minutes or an hour. I just don't feel like going over there and posting. And so I'm starting to kind of like slack on it. Um, we'll see. I'm gonna keep doing it for now. I'm really happy with my YouTube growth. But yeah, LinkedIn good as well, Twitter hard, and Facebook. Yeah, I'm not really trying over there. Anyway, you are welcome, Jaden. Hopefully this helps, guys. And I'm not sure when our next live stream will be. We might just end up doing them completely randomly. Um, it's been kind of hard to schedule with me and Nick, but we'll see. Might not have one this week, but Wednesday, we might do next Wednesday at like what is it? 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. Anyway, um, I guess I can plug one thing. I think we have niche edits on sale this month. Yeah, niche edits are on sale this month. Penny12 is the code to get 10% off niche edits. That's going on for what, 12 more days? And yeah, definitely take advantage of this one if you need some good links because niche edits, these are I think our number one seller. Links that from real websites that actually move the needle. 10% off is pretty much the best you can get unless except for like Black Friday, but that's like 6 months from now, so quite some time. Do I got any other news to share with you guys? Not really sure. I don't think so. Getting tired. All right, guys.